Want to talk about the significant use of Caine's eyes and how they tie into my theory. I'll be using an AI voice to spare you from the reading. Basically, in this scene in the pilot Caine, which we know his nature is happy, when he glitches, his eyes glitch only blue.
May include
I also notice while editing you can see red glitching, so this was hinted at since the pilot. Also in the scene with Jax, he's happy, we can also see his eyes glitch only blue once more.
phantasmical moment of my... What you doing there, Jax?
However, in this scene in episode 6, Caine becomes more doubtful and hostile. That's when we start seeing the red mix with the blue when he glitches. This also happens in episode 8, when he fully embraces his narcissistic and hostile nature.
On the road!
This could be a deliberate choice, but I believe this is showing how the two AIs have merged and how Caine is the result. I mentioned this in my other short, but I showed how Caine in this scene glitching, the sound that plays is almost identical to the sound when the blue and the red AIs had merged. I'll play a clip of my breakdown of Caine's crash out, and who I believe to be in control if the two AIs were fighting for control, as Caine's personalities are wildfire in this scene if you pay attention.
Think they are. I give them everything, and they spit in my face! Don't they know what I'm capable of? Humans! They only think about themselves. They're spoiled! They won't abstract. They won't leave me. I won't let them! I'm better!
I'm better. The blue AI seemed to have a better grasp with its purpose over the red AI.
I'm more powerful! I'm the original!
I've seen someone mention this, so shout out to this person. I like this theory, but I do still believe Caine was originally the red AI. However, I believe the red AI was more powerful. So one, it was the original, but also, it's the one that's mostly in control. Not necessarily all the time, but it being more in control when Caine has strong emotion, like in episode 3 with Zubel, as red is known to be a strong mix of emotion. Basically, it's the groundwork for Caine. In this scene, the red AI could possibly be asserting its authority over the blue AI by stating it's the, quote, original and the one that's more powerful. That doesn't mean the blue AI doesn't have its own far share of control within Caine, as I believe Scratch made the blue AI to store human minds, so it had known what human feelings were like and how they desired to be loved. With the red AI consuming the blue AI, their merge made it a mess of emotions, but this could mean the blue AI would have acted like what Caine was like in earlier episodes. They are both still artificial, so they don't understand humans that well. By going back to my breakdown of colors, red was the strongest mix of emotion, ranging from anything to anger to sadness. This could show, if the red had fully taken control for the first time physically, that could explain why Caine was so hostile in episode 8. This could mean any time Caine loved the humans and tried to make adventures to appeal to them, that's when the blue was in control, physically. The red was always the mental one in control. That's until episode 8 when the blue started having doubt and existential crisis because it knew it screwed up with the exit adventure but just didn't want to admit it. The blue tried coping with itself. Meanwhile, within Caine's head, the red AI saw the opportunity and decided to take control physically and do things its own way. It's important not to rule out Bubble here, as he could still play a big part in this. What if Bubble was some sort of AI that wanted to have the roles of the blue and red swap? What if he's the intrusive thoughts of Caine and whatever AI is in control, Bubble takes the personality of the other AI to anger the other AI who is controlling Caine? If this possible Bubble in this scene could be the red bruising the blue's ego to then take control when the blue loses it, finally seeing its chance to take control as it sees itself as the more dominant one. The blue now watered down to Bubble, possibly alongside reduced to Caine's mental control, while the red is physically in control, can be seen when Bubble acts off seemingly wanting to insult Caine but can't. Alongside Caine stopping before he can hurt Pomni. because the blue maybe in Caine's mental state can sense Kinger trying to reverse the red AI's control, with the blue making its last-ditch effort to regain control. However, the red sensing the blue's power strengthening leads to the chilling "Where's Kinger" scene as the red catches on to the plan. The blue's power falls apart as the red gets stronger with Pomni's insults as Caine's anger grows. However, by the time the blue regains enough strength to stop itself and regain control, as the red possibly is deleted first, as it was the original, the blue is deleted afterward. I'll add this in because I think it needs to be taken note for Caine lovers. This could possibly mean he's still alive. Caine, the merged creation of the red and blue, is dead, but the two AIs that made it up are still alive. The reason I say this is because Kinger was plausibly deleting the merged code, not the individual codes of the separate AIs. Meaning, with the merged code gone, that could mean the two AIs are now separated after being merged as of the single entity, Caine, for over 2 decades. This could explain why the circus stopped glitching, as the shared AIs were separating, causing the circus to glitch, but once they fully separated, everything stopped. However, the merged code had some significance in building the circus, so that's probably why it was being torn apart. This could be the focus of Episode 9, as the two AIs are now their own beings. However, to take note, if they did merge once more, Caine could be revived. However, with how both AIs were robbing each other of their individual potential, I doubt seeing a full-fledged Caine likely. With the red and blue AIs now having their own thoughts, it's unknown if they would make a body for themselves or just be part of the circus itself. But the thing that I should make clear is the circus members would not be safe, as the red AI, the side of Caine that was cruel and hostile, is still out there. But the good news is the Caine that loved humans could be as well. In short, I wanted to bring this theory to life, as this could be somewhat unpredictable, like Caine's voice actor said. And for those who say Caine being full-fledged, revived ruins the narrative, this could be a way where he isn't revived but isn't dead either.